US 72. Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about US Highway 72 and its alternate route and Interstate 565. A fun fact about US 72, it is the only US highway to start and end in the same state while going through multiple different states at once. The reason I'm talking about this highway is because it was requested by Ryland Television 2321 as he lives in the Huntsville area and would like to see this highway. So let's get started with US Highway 72. So as you can see here, US 72 starts in Memphis and ends in Chattanooga and goes through the states of Mississippi and Alabama. It is 318 miles long. So we're going to be first talking about eastbound US 72. So US 72 begins here in Memphis at an intersection with US 64, US 70, and US 79. This is the beginning, as if you go straight on this road, you'll be on US 72. So a little down the way, you meet Interstate 240, which is signed for Nashville and Jackson, Mississippi, and US 72 East is signed for Germantown and Collierville. And I don't know about those. The next, I think it should be like Corinth and Florence. So a little ways after that, US 72 is concurrent with Tennessee Highway 57, and they split off. US 72 is going its own way towards Corinth, Mississippi, while Tennessee Highway 57 goes off toward doing its own thing. We're going to be following US 72 here. So US 72 meets Tennessee Highway 385 out in the outskirts of Memphis, and it looks like that Tennessee Highway 385 is an important road because it takes you to both Interstate 269 and Interstate 240. And on that exit on Tennessee Highway 385, US 72 is signed for Collierville and Corinth, Mississippi. So after a little bit after that, you meet Interstate 269, which is signed for Arlington and Tunica. A little ways after that, you cross into Mississippi, and there is no welcome to Mississippi, only this Marshall County line, state line. So a little ways into Mississippi, in Corinth, Mississippi, you meet US Highway 45, which is signed for Tupelo, Mississippi, and Jackson, Tennessee. On US 45 itself, US 72 is signed east for Corinth and west for Memphis. I do agree with the Memphis, but I don't know about Corinth. They're basically already in Corinth. Why is it signed for downtown? I think that should be like Florence. So this is on the outskirts of another town along US 72, and there's a mileage sign for Iuka, I don't know how to pronounce that, which is 6 miles away in Huntsville. They mentioned Huntsville out here in Mississippi, which is 104 miles away. This is with Mississippi Highway 25, and US 72 is signed for that one weird town I'm not going to pronounce in Corinth and Florence, which I do agree with Florence, but not with the other two towns. I think it should be Memphis. Because Corinth is only like 10,000 people, and the only major thing about it is you meet US Highway 45. Welcome to Alabama. Within Alabama, we get a mileage sign, which is Cherokee 8 and Tuscumbia 24. And here we meet the Natchez Trace Parkway, and there's an entrance to it, but when I took this street view, it looks like it's closed, so maybe you can go another time. And here this is an intersection with US 43, as US 43 and US 72 all are as concurrent for a while, going through Florence, Alabama. And US 43 South is going to Russellville, Alabama. This is in the outskirts of Florence, as US 43 is splitting away from US 72, and on US 43, US 72 is signed for Florence and Athens. I agree with. This is on the outskirts of Florence, and we have Rogersville 5 and Athens 26. Here in Athens, we meet US Highway 31. Here we meet Interstate 65, which is a major north-south highway. And on Interstate 65 itself, US 72 is signed for Athens and Huntsville. So when I used to live in Alabama, like way back when, this is the light that I would take to get home. The light is for East Limestone Road. As you can see here, as the map, the road, East Limestone Road is the road that I would take to get home. This is now in Huntsville, as we meet a major route in Huntsville, which is Alabama Highway 255, which takes you to either Alabama Highway 53 or to Interstate 565. This is it now. Now we're like in the city limits of Huntsville, and we're meeting Alabama Highway 53, and US 72 has no control city. Here we meet US 231 and US 431 for Memorial Parkway, which they don't have any control cities. That is the name of the road that the US 231 and 431 is called, going through Huntsville, and US 72 is going to be concurrent with the two highways for a while. In fact, for a few miles, after a few miles concurrent with 231 and 431, US 72 splits, going towards the outskirts of eastern Huntsville. And here we meet Interstate 565, and which you can take to get back to go west towards Decatur, and Interstate 65, while US 72 is heading east towards Tennessee. So as of north of Huntsville, we're going to be now going in more of a northeastern direction. Look at that, there's some mountains here in eastern Huntsville. So after 70 miles going northeast through small towns in Alabama, we finally arrive back into Tennessee. So a few miles after coming back into Tennessee, US Highway 72 meets Interstate 24, which has no control cities going east on US 72. But if you look up the control cities for US 72 on Interstate 24, it's 72 west for South Pittsburg, which is the town on the Alabama and Tennessee border, which is not that big. And US 72 is signed east for Kimball, Tennessee, which is the town that you're literally in right now. Those towns don't make any sense. That should be signed 72 west for Huntsville and 72 east for Chattanooga. And also US 64 is now joining US 72. A little ways on the way to Chattanooga, US 41 joins US 72, so 72 and 41. So 41 is going to be concurrent with 72 for the rest of its journey. And then we meet Interstate 24 again, which has the control cities of Chattanooga and Nashville and Birmingham, because of it meeting Interstate 59. Here, right after that Interstate 24 interchange, we meet US 11, and look at the view of those mountains. And then after that, before we get into downtown Chattanooga, we meet US 27, which, guess what, is the hidden designation of Interstate 124. Here, US 11 and US 64 split from US 72 and US 41, and then this is the end of US 72 at an intersection with US 41 and the beginning of US 76. I was reading that US 76 is like a continuation of US 72, but they decided to change it to a different number. I don't know why, but you could have just kept US 72, and it would have been a concurrent US highway from Memphis all the way to Wilmington, which would be cool to see. So now we're going to be talking about westbound US 72. So we begin here at that same intersection where US 41 is going north. If you take a left, and as there's no sign here, it's also the beginning of US 72 and the end of US 76. And then US 11 and US 64 join the party like a half mile later. And then before we meet Interstate 24 for the first time going westbound, US 11 leaves. You're going to meet Interstate 24 again, and then a little while later, US 41 leaves, going north, while US 72 stays straight going west. Here we meet Interstate 24 for a second time, and this time it's just signed for Chattanooga and Nashville, and US 64 is leaving to join Interstate 24 going west towards Nashville. Here, this is the intersection with Tennessee Highway 156. And US 72 is signed for Scottsboro. Scottsboro is a town that US 72 goes through. Huntsville is only 70 miles away. Why sign Scottsboro? You should sign Huntsville. Ugh. So after that intersection, a little ways after, we're now back in Alabama. So after you drive 70 miles southwest, we're finally meeting US 72 is splitting off to go to Athens, but we're going to be taking Interstate 565 and US 72 alternate. So we're going to be following the southern bank of the Tennessee River. So on Interstate 565, there's no control city, and we're in like the first major highway after US 72 splitting is 231 and US 431. And then this is the exit to get to the Space Museum in Huntsville, and Interstate 565 has now control city to Interstate 65. In fact, here's a closer view of the Space Museum in Huntsville. As you saw earlier, the exit for Alabama 255. So at the end of 565, we meet Interstate 65, which is signed for Birmingham and Nashville respectively, and 565 ends, alternate US 72 and Alabama Highway 20 continue west towards Decatur. So alternate 72, a little while after a little after 565 ending, we meet US Highway 31, which you can take either north to get to Athens, or while US 31 south merges with alternate Highway 72, while both of them cross over the Tennessee River and into Decatur. And when we get into Decatur, alternate Highway 72 splits from US 31, while 31 keeps going straight south, while alternate 72 goes west. And then after we pass through Decatur, and like 40 miles down the road, we finally reunite with US 72, and US 72 keeps going straight towards Corinth and Tuscumbia. After we go through that town, we now re-enter into Mississippi. And as you can, the first gnarliest sign in Mississippi is, I'm not going to pronounce that town again, which is 5 miles away in Corinth, 27. Then we meet US 45 in Corinth, Mississippi. So after we pass through small towns in northwestern Mississippi, we finally cross back into Tennessee. And the first major highway we meet into Tennessee is Interstate 269 again. And then we also Tennessee Highway 385. But after meeting those two highways a little up the road, we reunite with Tennessee Highway 57. And for the rest of its concurrency, Tennessee Highway 57 and US 72 share the road. Again, we meet Interstate 240, which is signed for Nashville and Jackson, Mississippi, respectively. And then we're back to where we started at the US 64, US 70, and US 79 interchange. This time there is no US highway continuing after US 72. US 72 just deads into these 3 US highways. So with that, that's the end of US 72. Now we're on to the TheDerpHogs the way it should be for US 72. For US 72 eastbound, I would sign out of Memphis, I would sign Corinth and Florence. The reason is because Corinth is only like 10,000 people, and the only major thing about Corinth, Mississippi is that you meet US 45 to either go north or south, so that's the only reason why I'll just sign Corinth and Florence. And then once you pass through Corinth, I'll just do Florence, Alabama again. Florence is a major city in northwestern Alabama, so Florence is a good city. And then after Florence, I'd do Athens, because Athens is a famous place in Alabama. And then after that, it's definitely Huntsville, and then after Huntsville, it's just straight up Chattanooga. No South Pittsburg, no Kimball, just Chattanooga. And then coming out of Chattanooga on US 72 westbound, and alternate Highway 72, I would do Huntsville, not Scottsboro, just Huntsville. Dual sign Decatur and Athens, because if you want to take US 72 west, it will be Athens, but if you want to stay on 565 and take US 72 alternate west, then it's Decatur, so I can choose between either one. But once you pass through both towns, it's again Florence, and then after Florence, I dual sign Corinth and Memphis, again Corinth for US 45, and then after you go through Corinth, it's just Memphis. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for watching this episode of US 72. Again, if you want to suggest your own highway, feel free to comment down which highway you'd like to see next, as I'm going to be doing 264 next, but after that I'm open to suggestions, so please suggest your highway that you'd like to see next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.